Well, hey there. My name is Kelly, and I'm an avid user of Leonardo.ai. I have multiple projects that I use Leo for, but in this video, we're going to focus on how I create coloring books from idea to publishing. Now, I'll break it down into three fairly simple steps: the coloring pages creation, the cover page creation, and the publishing of our coloring book through the Amazon KDP platform. Now, we'll be using Leonardo.ai to create the images, the free version of Canva.com to create the book, and Amazon KDP to publish it. As I said before, these are fairly simple steps to follow, and step one will be familiar to anyone who's used Leonardo before. First, we need to come up with a concept for the coloring book. Today I'm thinking maybe stained glass windows. Next, we need to decide what size we want our coloring book. The standards are 8.5 inches by 11 inches or A4. Another common size is for a mini or a pocket size coloring book. Those are usually 4 inches by 6 inches, but your size is completely up to you. Just remember that your margins and your bleed sizes, they're going to change depending on the size that you select and the number of pages that you decide to include in your coloring book. I choose the 8.5 inch by 11 inch option. Now that we have our theme and our size picked out, let's open up Leonardo and start creating images for our coloring book. Feel free to use the prompt that I'm using. Search the Leonardo trending page for something coloring book inspired that you like and remix it, or create your very own prompt. Make sure that you use the correct model so that you can use the coloring book element that's available. So let's go in and take a look at this. If we go into our image generation and we select any of the XL models. So we got Leonardo Diffusion XL, Leonardo Kino XL, Leonardo Vision XL, Albedo Base XL, and SD XL 0.9. These are the 5 compatible models that will use the coloring book element that's available. For this book, we're going to use the Leonardo Diffusion XL, and I'm going to set my setting here to sketch black and white. We'll go in, we'll add our coloring book element. Now, if you'll notice, if you pick on anything else, Dream Shaper, it's going to go away, right? It's incompatible. Anything other than those 5 that were mentioned. So we'll go back to Diffusion XL. I'm going to leave the weight at 1, and we'll try it with that and see what happens. Let's turn our negative prompts on. Bad faces, ugly image, malformed hands. These are just standard ones I usually leave in all the time. Let's go ahead and set everything up to what we want. We know it's going to be an 8.5 by 11, so we're going to want the 2 to 3, right? 3 high, 2 wide to make it fit on a standard portrait 8.5 by 11 inch. Let's go back into my personal feed, find a coloring book image. Take that and do a remix. Realistic coloring book for adults, bold black lines, detailed, and then whatever you want, okay? In this particular case, like I said, we're going to do stained glass. So let's see, stained glass design. Let's just go stained glass design. We've got everything turned on. We're doing good there. We've got our perfect size. And we're running Alchemy version 2. Let's see what we get with this one. Beautiful. I think we have 3 of them right here we could use. So all 3 of those would work. I'm not sure that one will work very well. It doesn't really fit or take up the whole page. So let's run a couple more. We got stained glass design. I didn't put people in there at all. Ugly face, bad hands, but I didn't say anything about including people. So stained glass design. Now let's just start with, let's say religious. See what happens. I'm not really getting anything religious out of that, but that's okay. This one's pretty good. A lot of detail in it, but there's still a bunch of gray, huh? Stuff that's already colored in. And that's not a good thing. You don't want any of that. So this one's not really going to work very well. See how free and clear everything? Well, there's still a few in this one too, huh? This one's not as bad. All right, let's see. Medieval. Dragon. Crucifixion. Mother Mary. Okay, see, that one's not too bad there, huh? Has a medieval look about it, as does that one. Dragons. Crucifixion. Pretty good one there. Or there. Mother Mary. Alright, so let's save these things to the coloring book. Save image as, and then we'll pop it into the coloring book folder here. And we'll drop you as 1. And let's get another one. Save image. Oop. Save image, and we'll drop you as 2. Grab a dragon. And just random pictures, right? We're not making a real coloring book. This is just to show you how to do it. We'll name this one 3. And we'll do one more. It's another good one. Let's do that one. And we'll do this one. Save this one as 4. Okay, now that we have our 4 selected, let's go into canva.com. This is a free piece of software online that anybody can use. There is a paid for, you can try the pro version, but I have never had an issue where I've needed the pro version. So the free version will work just fine. After all those images are created, make sure you look each one of them over, make sure that they're all print ready. If you find changes that need to be made, obviously you can do it so in Canvas, whatever your favorite photo manipulating tool is. Then we'll go into Canva and start creating our book. Okay, so the minimum amount of pages that are allowed in your coloring book is 24. The max depends on the paper type that you select during your upload, but it's in the 500 to 600 range. It's way more than you'd ever need for a coloring book. So knowing that, let's open Canva, which we already have, and let's click on the Create a Custom Design, and we'll go down to Custom Size. Now, we're printing on 8.5 by 11 inches, but we need to add the extra area outside of the image for bleed and margins. This means on an 8.5 by 11 inch with 24 images, it's going to be 8.625 inches by 11.25 inches. All right, I already have that here. That's going to create a single page there, okay? So we need to bring in our images, so we go to Uploads. We upload the files that we want to use, which, let me get to it. So we take all 4 of these, and we open them up into our image store here. Now we need to pick which ones we want, and we just shoot them on over to where we want them. In this particular instance, we're just going to drag it all the way over and make it as big as it needs to be to fit that page. Okay, there's page 1. Now, remember that every page has an opposite side to it. Okay, so if you do one page here, the next page is going to have to be blank because that's going to be the back side of that page. Okay, so you make a single page of what you want your image to be, a blank page, and then add another page, and this will be your second image. Pop that in there, make it the size that you want for this page, just like that. And then we add another page. Now this one, again, is going to be blank because you have to have a blank page on the back of your image page. That way you don't have bleed through whenever you're doing your coloring. A lot of people use markers. So now we'll add another page and we'll throw our third image in there. And we'll make it the same size as the paper. Drop that back a touch. There we go. Bring you down. Actually, I don't really like that. So let's add this one up like that. There we go. Yeah, drop that down a touch. There we go. That's a little better. Maybe a touch higher. That'll be fine. All right, and then again, add another page that's blank, and then add a page, and drop in our fourth one. Make it extend to the size of your page. Make it look where you want it to look. And how you want it to look, like that would be perfect. Drop that one back up, and another page on the back of it. So there we have our quick little 4-page, right? 4-page 8 sheet is what this is called. Granted, I'm not going to do all 24 of them. That would just take way too long and it would be redundant for you. So once you get to this point and you have all these done, then you just go up and share it, and you'll want to download it. But download it as a PDF for printing, right? A PDF print. Don't need to add any of this stuff. Leave it exactly as it is. If you want, CMYK is always best for printing, but that's your Canva Pro version. I've never had a problem using the RGB. It prints fine. So that's it. Once you get that point, download it. Save it where you want it. And now it's time for Amazon. So this is free. It doesn't cost you anything. All you need to do is create your book or whatever it is that you're trying to publish, put it out there, and set a price. And whatever the price is, Amazon's going to take their cut. The printing company is going to take whatever it costs to do the printing, and then whatever is left over goes to you. So at this point, it's just a matter of adding. You hit the create button. You tell it that you want to do a paperback, create a paperback, and then start following all the questions here. And they're really simple questions. What language is it in? What do you want to call it? Is there a subtitle for it? Is it a part of a series? What edition number is it, if it is? Of course, you want to put all your information in here about who the author is. If you have any contributors, you can add them. And then you put in your description. Now, this is what people are going to be able to see on your Amazon page that's selling this piece. So you'll want to include all of the description that you want. Let people know what images are inside there, how many images there are. Is it marker safe? Are they map color or crayons? Once you get into that, then drop into your publishing rights. You can say you own the copyright because it is all of yours. It is not public domain. There are no sexually explicit images, or in this particular case, there's nothing bad about it. So I'll do regular coloring book ages, right? 6 to 12 would be my guess. Somewhere in there. Crayons, So yeah, you just select what your market reading age is, coloring age, what primary marketplace you want out of all the Amazons. Once you just do Amazon.com, that pretty much covers all of them. So then you go through and you choose your categories. And this particular interest, if I remember correctly, it's under children's books, arts, was it arts? Activities, that's right. Activities, and then you have activity books, coloring books. And I always leave it at this. It's always, children's books. I guess there's another option somewhere, and you can add another category here. Crafts, coloring books for grown-ups. There you go. And then you just select what type, right? So the animals or religion, religious, whichever you prefer, right? So then you have two. You can throw it out there for the kids, since there's nothing bad about it, and you can also leave it as for adults and grown-ups. But again, we're not doing any of this. I'm just showing you how to get through it, right? Once you get all that, there's 2 other pages to go through, okay? So once you get all your categories done, then you can start typing in your keywords. Whatever your keywords are, don't use the same words that you've used in your description or your title. Use something completely different, because those words that are in your description and in your title are already going to be counted as keywords. Publication date will be the same as when you release it, unless you've already previously released it and you're doing it again. Again, release date, book will be on sale immediately upon release. It can usually take up to 72 hours to go live. Once you save and continue this, I don't know if it's going to let me go in. Once you save and continue it, yeah, it's not going to. Then you go into the content. So here's one here that I have already up. There we go. Edit book details, content, and pricing. So the details we've already seen. That's here, right? We've already done all of this. Once you save and continue it, it's going to take you to the paperback content. On the paperback content tab, you can either select whether you want a free KDP ISBN number and have it assigned to the book automatically, or you can use your own ISBN number if you already have one. In the print options, this is where you start talking about what type of paper and what type of ink you want. Now, this is just a black and white on white paper. Now, you can do black and white interior with cream. Then you can also do color, which this is a coloring book, so there's no sense in doing anything with color. It will all be black and white for coloring books. They'll tell you down here that typical for nonfiction is what the black and white interior with white paper is, and the paper weight is 50 to 61 pounds or 74 to 90 grams per square meter. Now, the trim size on this is 8.5 by 11, and you go through and you select what you want. 8.5 by 11 inches or 21.59 by 27.94 centimeters. This changes depending on what size yours is going to be. With bleed options, I choose bleed PDF only. And what that means is you're going to have your margin box that goes all the way around the outside of your page, and it comes in about 1/8 of an inch or so from either side. Maybe even upwards of 1/4 of an inch, depending on top, bottom, or sides. What bleed means is that the image is going to stretch out farther than what that box entails. So anything that's inside of the box that they show you will be printed, and anything outside of that box will be deleted and not used. It'll go away once it's printed. And that's the way that I do it, because it's just easier, right? You flood the whole page up. You don't have to worry about bringing everything in 1/4 of an inch all the way around. When you start getting into that, then at that point you start running into problems of whether or not the paper or whether or not the image is the correct size on the paper. With the paperback cover, you can do either matte or glossy. I choose glossy most of the time. And then at that point you upload your manuscript. Now, the manuscript is that PDF that we just downloaded through Canva. You'll upload that, and once you upload that, then you can use what's called the cover creator to make your book cover. Now, you can use the same exact images that you already had and just make it pretty, or you can go in and create your own new cover however you want. I always do mine as colorful, eye-catching, but you can do whatever you'd like, right? It's your cover. So you upload your cover file here. It'll ask you if your cover has a barcode. If you already put the barcode on there, then say yes, you already have a barcode on your cover. If not, then they'll just add it on there, which is exactly what they did here. Okay. It'll come through. Amazon wants to know whether or not anything in this coloring book has been generated through AI. And of course, yes, all of it has been generated through AI, but there's no text. Okay. So since there's no text, I say none, but many of the AI generated images were created with Leonardo.ai, because that's the tool that I used, and they were extensively edited. Okay, so I had to do a lot of editing to make these particular images work for this coloring book. There are also other options here. Many images that are created through AI with minimal or no editing, one or a few with extensive, or one or a few with minimal. And of course, there's no translations for this. At this point, you can just launch the previewer, and it'll show you exactly what the book is. I highly suggest that you go through the preview, and I think it actually makes you. But see, here you can see those boxes that I was telling you about, right? The red line, all of your text and your graphics must be inside of that red dotted line all the way around. If anything is outside of that line, it will not be printed. Okay, that's your cutoff. Now, the white line is your margin. Okay, anything outside of that white line is pretty much gone. But anything inside of this red line, has to be printed. Okay, so just leave it at that. And then you can just run through it. So as you can see, I made a title page for this particular one, which I suggest you do. Make a cover, or make your cover page, make a title page, and then once you have your title page done, start going in and creating your actual images, right? And as you can see, it's coloring image and then blank space. Coloring image, blank space. Okay? And that's what you want. Exactly that. So we just run through these, make sure they all look good. Again, making sure that everything that you want text-wise and your image, what you want it to focus on, is inside of those dotted lines. Everything outside of that dotted line probably will not be printed. So there we go. Once that's done, you approve it. Okay, and then you go on to your continue without saving. Go on to your paperback rights and the pricing. Okay, in this particular case, I want it to go everywhere, right? All territories, worldwide rights. Okay, it can be distributed anywhere that Amazon sends packages. Okay, through Amazon.com. And here's where we start getting into the pricing, the royalty, and the distribution. In order to print this particular book, it costs $2.84, okay? Each individual unit. Now, $2.84 plus 60% goes to Amazon, right? $1.95, which means that we get 40% of what's left after Amazon and printing takes it. Okay, you're going to end up getting 40%. And then it goes through and it shows you, it breaks it all down individually, how much it's going to be at each particular Amazon, okay? And then your terms and conditions. You can request a proof, and they'll order you or they'll send you your author copy, basically, for the cost of printing. So $2.84. And you'll get your coloring book in the mail. And that's pretty much it. Publish it. Boom, you're done. Start making money on Amazon using Leonardo. I hope this helped you, and good luck with your coloring books. Take care.